Bat music.
He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who just rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome to another minute of Bat Minute Returns. Ooh, I got kind of flustered there in that introduction.
You almost said 89.
I was going into like, I was about to say welcome to minute 40. It's like, we don't usually do that. But like, oh, no, so. Anyway, yes, welcome to Bat Minute Returns, the podcast where you'd suppose we'd feel better looking at Tim Burton's 1992 Batman film 1 minute at a time, but actually, we feel worse. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And joining him is someone who has in no way been implicated in the disappearance of any children. The courts ruled me free of all charges. I was let off. I am John Parker.
And I'm also joining. I'm Johnie Powers from Austin Powers Minute, and I am in no way related to a circus freak.
Hey.
That's a shame. That would be fantastic if you were. Although I don't know if circus freak activities translate to the form of the podcast.
Well, I mean, Sean German's been doing that mime podcast for ages.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes, and very successfully, might I add.
Yeah, so like, I guess it works for him. You assume that would be the most difficult one to convey in audio format, but well, whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's why he does it, because it's like, this is insane.
Yeah, I think that's Sean's like mission in life. It's just like, what if I just choose the most, like, because initially it was like Spinal Tap's like, oh, you can't analyze a comedy to that extent. And he's like, I'm gonna do it, and then it's like Groundhog Man. It's like, well, it'll be the same. You see the same scenes over and over again. No, I'm doing it. It's like,
doing it twice.
Yeah, so the next time it would be like, I don't know, Memento or something. He'll just drive himself crazy trying to keep track of it. But anyway, we're here to talk about minute 40 of Batman Returns. Minute 40 begins with Alfred sort of nagging Bruce Wayne. And it ends 1 minute later with Alfred nagging Bruce Wayne.
That's all he does in these films.
That's the thing, in the worst phone setup I've ever seen in my life, but we'll get to that in a minute anyway. But yeah, we do get this opening gamut from Alfred here, where it's just like, asking him why he's looking into this penguin, and he's like, "Must you be the only lonely man beast in town?" Which is, it's humorous. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of conveying like, oh, you're just a little bit jealous of him because he's here. But then again, later on in the movie, this is like it was like a theme they were going to introduce, but then didn't do it right or something. Because you have, later on the Penguin strangling Batman with his umbrella, and he's like, "Oh, you're just jealous because I'm a genuine freak and you have to wear a mask." And then Batman's like, "You might be right." And it's like, so was Alfred right here that he is jealous of the Penguin? Or
well, I think he is kind of a little bit. It sounds bad, but I think he does love the character he's created almost. Like it's his entire life, isn't it? He doesn't have another life. So the fact that he is the only one, like, this is quite important to him in a way.
Yeah, but do you really want to be seen as, like, I don't know, at least it's nice that Bruce gets his whole, like, playboy side, like, normal side, I guess. Penguin's just Penguin.
But that's not even really true of this version of Bruce Wayne, though, unfortunately, because like you and like the Ben Affleck and the Christian Bale Bruce Waynes, that you'd see them out partying, but like this version, like we're introduced to him in this movie, and he's just sitting in his house by himself while there's a big party going down for the Christmas tree, and he's just like,
just
no.
me. He's just me. You want him to be at home on your computer instead of out.
Who doesnn want to do that? It's sat in a lonely cave eating cold soup. That sounds like a good evening to me, to be honest.
Oh, I have to say, too, in case people wanting to follow up, because we had the Vichyssoise last episode, which we ate cold on air here.
Live on air, eating soup.
And I have to say, I heated up the soup a couple of days later in the microwave. It was pretty damn nice. So it was nice cold, but it was even nicer heated up. So
Nah, I'm a cold man. I have to go legit, do it proper.
I mean, like I tried the cold version. It was all right, but then it's kind of like, oh, I've come across this great idea, vichyssoise, which is just cold potato and leek soup. Why don't we heat it up? It's like, oh my god, this is even better.
Well, with regards to this minute, I love that Alfred says man beast. Because it instantly made, well, not only is it a hilarious phrase, but it instantly then made me think, hang on a minute, I've heard that somewhere. So I looked it up, and of course Marvel, the rivals, have a comic book character called Man Beast.
Oh.
Yeah, and there is also a movie from 1956 titled Man Beast about an evil yeti.
Oh.
Maybe Alfred forgot what franchise he was a part of for a second.
Yeah, it's close enough. It'll do.
Yeah, he's been secretly moonlighting for Marvel in secret. And they're like, oh my god, I've almost been rumbled.
He's taken DC down from the inside, and he's succeeded lately, clearly.
I do wish, though, he had said Manimal. That would have been better.
Yes.
Just Stan Winston going like, I know I'm working on this movie. Can you work in a reference to Manimal? Just to let those guys know I'm still thinking about them.
I think I'm the only person in the world who enjoyed that show.
But I have to say that, we see the decor behind Alfred here as well, which is in itself quite kind of curious, because you've got these sort of rotating things hanging from the ceiling. No idea what they are. They're just sort of just science stuff. It's just general science. Just
There you go, science stuff. What more do you need to know? We're too stupid to know.
yeah. But and then he has a thing which you see the desk behind him. The desk in itself is curious to me because it's like it looks like it's built into the cave bedrock in some way. But is it that they've actually carved a desk out of the cave, or has Bruce gone like, no, for the feng shui and just the make things look stylish. Let's make a desk that looks a bit like it's made out of rock, and then put it in. Or what was the deal here?
It looks like the latter. I don't think he's made it out of the rock, which is a shame.
I just don't understand why there's a sink with all kinds of electrical equipment.
Oh yeah,
It seems very
That's an excellent point.
not okay to have that there.
that's the thing. It's just like, 92, he just get away with anything. It's just like, oh yeah, he's going in there. He's got a toaster with a fork nearby just in case the toast gets stuck.
The wild 90s. We were crazy back then.
Although weirdly enough, on the other side, it looks like they have a card reader. It just looks like a modern day thing. You're paying by debit card. You slot your debit card into that.
Oh, like a chip and pin.
Yeah, it just looks like a chip and pin machine.
He's doing a lot of online shopping. He's got to buy more weird stuff for his cave.
Well, that does. I think we brought this up in the last movie. That does make me think. Where does he get the stuff to be Batman? Like in the modern movies, it makes sense. They explain it. It's his business. It's his company. He sort of channels it through that. In this one, what's he doing?
I don't know. Is he inventing it himself? Because before he had Lucius. In all the other
there's no
iterations.
mention in these ones. In these ones, it doesn't say he invents. He just has it because he's rich. There's no explanation.
I guess because we do see him working on the Batmobile himself later. So it's like, well, I guess he made that. Unless he just knows how to maintain it. But a lot of this stuff, though, is kind of like, I guess maybe you could just buy general forensics equipment or something from some companies and just
Can you? I guess rich people can do what the hell they want, to be honest.
it'll just be like this. Yeah, you could just go assume that there's a Wayne Enterprises science division, and he's like, yeah, I need a couple of beakers and I need a microfiche machine and all this kind of business. And eventually at one point, because someone make me a desk that looks like it's made out of rock, but this, I brought a sample of the rock I want to look at just so it matches everything else in my not bat cave, just so everyone's clear. I don't have a bat cave, and that's what you're wondering why I'm doing it. But it reminded me though, when I was a kid, I used to have a Flintstones lunchbox that was made to look as if it was made of rock.
Oh, that's cool.
Wait. Did it look like his lunchbox in the show?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It's still to this day, it's like, I wish I had that lunchbox now. That was pretty. The thing is, I don't know I'm sure you probably could buy it on eBay, but
probably very expensive now.
Yeah. So I don't even know if the Flintstones is even a thing anymore, because it was such a huge thing for like 50 years. It seemed to start off like the late 50s, early 60s, and then like up through the 90s and whatnot. The Flintstones is always a cultural presence. And now I don't think they're making Flintstone stuff anymore. I think there's like even bank adverts where they put Fred Flintstone in them. But I don't know if the kids know who he is anymore.
I feel like only kids know that they're vitamins. And then like that's it.
See, I remember when I was a kid, I had the Hulk Hogan ones
What?
rather than the Flintstones. Yeah, because that was always his phrase. It was like, say your prayers and eat your vitamins.
Hulk was never accused of any like juicing or anything, was he? Because otherwise that would take on a very sort of nefarious sort of.
He was, and he went to court for it and implicated Vince McMahon, and they fell out.
Well, there you go. It's like Vince McMahon making him take his vitamins there. So.
I think that's why they had to stop selling them, because of the steroid case.
I can imagine. Because it's like performance enhancing vitamins. Kids, you should eat this. No. Apparently, it just looks as if it might be steroids. All right, we know he's not actually doing that, but still, it's got stank all over it now.
Oh yeah, Hulk was all over the steroids. Let me tell you.
But I was noticing we got like in the background there as well. We got these little orange dial, little green dial. No idea what they do. And then we get the security cameras. I do like the shot of Wayne Manor, because it looks like it's just literally a shot like Tim Burton's taken from like an old horror movie. Of like this was like a shot of Dracula's castle or something, and he's just splattered that in over the.
You could tell me that is a still from a Dracula movie that he just put in there, and I would buy it.
Yeah, and then it'd just be like cuts into the manor proper. Almost for a second thought it might have been a bit of security footage from the armory, the room in the last movie that had all the armored suits. But no, I don't think they had that level of continuity in them to care that much. So
no. Tim Burton doesn't give a damn about things like that.
No, not at all. But for the one thing too, the Batcave looks completely different to the last time we saw it as well. But yeah, then we do get this business of Bruce Wayne starts to read out the headlines that are popped up here, which has spurred his suspicion of what the Penguin and the Red Triangle Gang are up to. And that sort of touched upon this like in the previous minute, but like it was one of those things like when I was a kid, again, you watch this movie and it was all water off a duck's back of like, oh yeah, whatever, and like this scene of like, oh yeah, the Penguin he was kidnapping kids or something, and that's how we found out. But now, like looking at it minute by minute, I was just like, this is really disturbing. This is actually like a really creepy plot point of like, there's been kids, not just like, it's the fact that they've gone missing. There's no like, oh, these kids have been abducted or anything like that. It's just like kids have mysteriously disappeared. You don't know what happened to them. We can only infer what might have happened.
Because the last place they were seen was the circus or whatever.
Yeah. If you sort of zoom in a little bit, you can see, I couldn't read too much of it, but they were last seen at the circus, and they were last seen with the Aquatic Bird Boy.
Yeah.
Who could that be?
I was like, what's he doing with them? Like, that's the thing. You don't literally, as soon as you start down that mental path of like,
oh God, no.
What was he up to? It's like, because later on in the movie, you accepted it when you're a kid, but it's like, yeah, he's planning to lead a bunch of children into toxic waste. That's his whole scheme. I was like, well, he's obviously done something just as bad to these ones, but
you know what I would have liked, right? I say this, it would be horrific, but it would be a good story if he's like kidnapped them and he sort of mutilates them and turns them into his fellow circus freaks, and they're like part of his gang.
Yeah,
I was thinking much nicer, because he has a lot of birds to take care of. He's just literally kidnapping children to take care of his menagerie of birds.
Oh, that would be nice. I could support that, because, a lot of the families in Gotham are crazy. He's probably doing them a favor, taking them away from their parents.
But this is the thing, though. I was surprised that, like, so many things that we've had to cover throughout the movie, the complaints the parents put into the Warner Brothers and whatnot, and the McDonald's giving out about the fact that like, oh, this movie, like, this was Tim Burton let off the leash. So like, I am actually kind of surprised that like, I can take all the, oh yeah, his penguin's got gunk coming out of his mouth all the time, and he's a bit scary. But I'm surprised that they didn't go to him like, you got to soften this implication here. You got to say like the kids were found or something. You've got to do something. But it's like, no, they just leave it as like they just disappeared and presumed dead. It's like, that's really messed up. But that's, of course, verifying Austin Powers' own fear of circus folk as well, Johnny. You can see that he was right. He was right to be fearful of these carnies, because look what could happen.
Carnies.
Carnies, yes, because carnies are much more terrifying than normal circus people.
It seems to be a very, even though of course he's playing an Englishman in that, it seems to be a very much an American thing, being terrified of carnies and thinking they're weird. Like here, they're just like kind of annoying. That's about that's about all people think of them.
Normally, like carnies here, they're like really drunk, or like, I know it's like a stereotype, but there's this experience that I had with, I guess you could chalk him up to a carny. I just moved down here to Florida for the first time, and there was a big truck sitting. This sounds so sketchy now that I'm like retelling the story. A big truck sitting at the corner near like the university that I was going to, and it said the Vortex Amazing on the side of it, and we're like, yeah, let's go, like,
Hell yeah.
And it was like a couple bucks to go in, and it was this like hallway that was like super trippy, and it was just like one random like middle-aged guy. He obviously was like drunk, clearly, because there was like a huge case of beer just like sitting out open, and he was just collecting money and like having teenagers walk through a truck that was like super trippy. And it was just, he eventually got arrested at some point
after the kids disappeared.
No, they didn't disappear. I think it was for like something nefarious with children, but they didn't disappear.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I was like, wow, I walked through that. I paid that man money, and it was actually very cool. So,
well, at least there was that. At least he put in the effort to make it good.
That's true, but it still was just like, that was not my best decision.
We've all made stupid choices, but that worked out well for you.
I wasn't a child I was too old, I think, at the time.
Those kind of all ringing bells, because I recently started getting into like, when you go down like YouTube holes, basically, where you're just like clicking on recommended. I've been like watching this guy's videos. Mr. Nightmare is basically a guy just narrates true stories that people send him. Well, true, quote unquote. But yeah, it is old. It's stuff like that. This is like really creepy incidental things that happen to people. But of course, he atmospheres it up, and you have like in the background like the sounds and stuff, and everything's like, one day I was out walking, and this real creepy stuff. So I was like, listen to this. It's like, oh, you should totally send that story into him, because he'd have a field day with that. But yeah, we do of course then get the a look at this newspaper that Bruce is actually looking at here, and seeing the picture in the middle, it has a weird thing written on the banner of the Red Triangle's little tent or whatever this is that they've got set up there, where it says, "The life of thine is the life of me," which is like, oh, what does that mean? And I was thinking it sounded very religious. So I was like, maybe it's like from the Bible or something. I've Googled it, and I can't find what it might be. And anyway,
that was going to be my question. Did you look it up? Because I didn't take that in.
No. The thing is that again though sounds like the life of thine is the life of me. Is it supposed to be like what's yours is mine? You're like it's kind of almost him saying, I'm going to abduct kids because their life is my life. I'm just going to take them. They're mine for the taking.
Because it rhymes with it, the first thing that came to my mind, because my head is really messed up, I just thought of the rhyme from Ringu, the Japanese ring. Or is it like, frolic in brine, goblins be thine.
Did you guys happen to know that who was in the photo? Did you guys look that up?
No, I couldn't. I think it was just supposed to be like general circus people. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone from the gang that I can see, but then it would be quite a while ago, so I suppose they would look different.
They there's like a speculation that it was actually a photo of Cuckoo the Bird Girl.
Oh.
And she's like a real circus performer from the 20s and 30s.
That's a bit tight, because we already had like sort of tie-ins to the movie Freaks, the Todd Browning sort of thing.
She was in that movie too. Yeah.
So there you go. Maybe that is directly Tim Burton's. Like, I'm literally putting like shots from the characters of that movie into this one as well, just so you get the point, people.
Oh, I heard the cat in the background.
Yeah, that's Hades.
Yay! Hello.
But then we got, of course, the other headlines around the picture, which are much, much less exciting.
I have advancing ice alters ecology of Alaskan town.
That's interesting, actually. Advancing ice. Like, what? That's quite the opposite of the real world, where the ice is disappearing. What's going on? Is that some sort of Mr. Freeze? Right?
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping he was like taking over Alaska or something.
But then we get the other headlines here. We got diplomats faded as important issues go by the board, which is just like the most generic headline. Like, if you had to make up like a fake news headline, that is the most effortless. Just like, it's just stuff. It's news stuff. There's something about a board and people and stuff. Stuff just happening. Who cares?
Looks newsy. It's fine. Slot that in.
Yeah. Newsies.
Oh, we haven't mentioned Newsies for a while.
Then, of course, aid research ease drought loss on farms, which, don't know what that. Don't think that could be in reference to anything too important to do with the movie, frankly. But
you never know.
you could do. Who's to say? Who is to say? But it's just like some. Got my notes handwritten. They're really.
Oh, you're old school, you. What are you doing?
Yeah. I was supposed more of the fact that Bruce starts reading out this headline, and that Alfred does this sort of exasperated, putting his hands down. I'm like, oh, like he's just can't believe that Bruce is just completely ignoring what he's just said. And it's we're talking just the last week about monocles. This could have been a monocle popping shot here.
Actually, this whole thing with the Aquatic Bird Boy, right? It's clearly the penguin.
Yeah.
It's our Pengy. This is now, I think I mentioned this last week. It's proof that I was wrong, and the penguin has definitely been above ground many times.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, he's been...
Right there is the proof I was wrong.
And it's like, we have to find out like all these shots of the penguin, like in Hawaii, with like this Hawaiian shit, the garland around his neck and the sunglasses and stuff.
Oh my God, someone needs to make a sequel. Penguin goes to Hawaii.
I think we were gunning for a prequel the other week, so like rope it into that. This is a very disturbing movie about.
Just watch Gotham.
That sounds like it could be a plot line in that show.
See, Johnny, we tried for Gotham. Like, honestly, I tried the first season. I just could not.
That's okay.
get it.
I did too.
Yeah, it just was not.
I got about 4 episodes in, I think.
If Gotham was like, this is the penguin, this is the Danny DeVito penguin going on tour and like rollicking around, like going to all the tourist spots himself and stuff. Meanwhile, he's secretly abducting kids. I'll be like, yeah, that's a show. I'll happily watch that. But Gotham in itself was just like, nah, it's not winning me over, man.
No.
Well, tragically so, but...
if you guys listening like it, though, keep on liking it. We don't want to stop you.
Yeah. But then, of course, in reference to the Aquatic Bird Boy, we do get, Bruce then sort of... Well, it would be inferred that that's who he's talking about here when he says, like, one freak show performer was managed to escape before he was brought in for questioning, which would indicate that that's the penguin. And it would actually bring up, I think we mentioned way back in the beginning, like, we're kind of like, what is the Red Triangle Gang? Were they just a legit circus that just suddenly decided to start doing crimes and stuff? But to say this is the incident here, this actual headline of, like, they got shut down, and then the penguin escaped, and then he started up this circus gang. And then they just, like, that became the Red Triangle Gang. I do wonder as well, like, this was supposed to be tying in the fact that in the original original Daniel Waters draft, they have Commissioner Gordon way back when referring to them as the Red Triangle Gang, like he knows who they are. But then in this version, he just calls them the Circus Gang. And I don't think anyone refers to them as the Red Triangle Gang until this minute. So it's Bruce who's actually pieced together. It's like, there was this circus, and then this is a continuation of the same crimes and stuff. So people who complain that you don't see Batman doing a lot of detective work in these movies, this is him doing it right now.
He just needs a microfiche.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Every investigator's most important tool, the microfiche.
I mean, at least I can understand a microfiche machine. I still don't know in The Dark Knight when he has that thing where he's like, he's got the brick with the bullet in it, and then he's scanning it, and then he's got a bunch of machine guns shooting something, and he's doing all this weird stuff. And I was like, this is just jargon to make it look like he's detecting something. And then somehow it's like, oh, he's made the same bullet that was in the wall. And then it just gets to that kind of supernatural thing of like, oh, he's found a thumbprint on it, and that must be the Joker. And then he gets there, it's like, no, the Joker put this other guy's thumbprint on it because he knew Batman would be able to track him through this exploded bullet in a wall. And it's like, this movie. It's a good thing this movie's good, because that's a pretty ridiculous plot point. But
Oh yeah.
but then there's the fact that, you know, so Bruce has obviously then started to go like, oh, well, this is clearly suspicious activity.
Yeah, I think he suspects, like, deep down, he knows the truth.
Oh, totally.
He doesn't want another Joker, but it's happening, and it's already happened. I mean.
Well, that's the thing. Like, this kind of makes Alfred seem really bad as well, because he gives this sort of, you know, sort of sarcastic, like, I suppose you feel better now, sir, because you found something to suspect him of. And it's like, Alfred, he's talking about a bunch of missing kids that this guy probably abducted. Like, and you're just sort of like, no, I guess you proved me wrong, sir. It's like, you dick, what the hell, man? This is serious.
He's just an old man who needs to retire.
I think it's probably it's probably long overdue retirement age, but because he's the only person who knows Bruce Wayne's secret, he's been forced into labor, and you just cannot let him go. It's like, you're here to the day you die, old man. Maybe
that's what it is, yeah, because there's no need to be keeping this guy employed. I mean, he could look after him, you know, he could give him a place to live and stuff. He doesn't have to be, he's still the butler. We've talked about this before. He's going to have to be cleaning that whole damn house on his own. He didn't have a Roomba. Maybe this is the overarching, this is the arc of Alfred throughout all the movies, is that in this, you know, the first movie, it had him, he was trying to get Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale to hook up so he could escape his life having to be Batman's butler by getting Bruce Wayne hooked up with someone so he'd forget all about it. And this one now is just a guy who failed in that mission, and so he's just been snarky and really just like, I'm sick. There's not even vichy soise he gave him. It's like, it was just cold soup. I didn't bother heating it up, sir. I hate you so much, sir.
He's like a teenager lashing out.
Yeah. And now he's just like, you know, constantly like, oh, he's going to get into this whole Batman thing with the Penguin. I just distracted. Oh, you don't want to investigate the Penguin, sir. There's no bother. You should just give up this whole business and just not bother doing it anymore. We'll have to see. I think by the fourth one, he is nearly dying. So, like, we'll have to keep track of Alfred's arc throughout the entire saga, as it were. But, yeah, of course, though, I do like again, just with the kind of music coming in, and I do like Bruce's comeback. I'm like, well, no, actually, I feel much worse, because he should feel worse. He's uncovered something very, very unsettling, and something he's definitely going to need to keep an eye on. Oh yeah. But I will say, though, because, you know, we spent a lot of time talking about Mickey Keaton last movie, and I thought, like, we did touch upon, at the beginning of this one, a lot of the other actors, like, what did they do just before, you know, this thing? Where were they in their careers when they approached Batman Returns? And I don't think we touched on Michael Keaton, because he did make 2 feature films between Batman and Batman Returns.
Yes.
He made One Good Cop, which was about, it was a kind of schmaltzy comedy drama, which was basically Kindergarten Cop / Mr. Mom, where...
that sounds amazing already. Sold. I'm watching it.
But basically the pitch was, he was one good cop. He was part of 2 good cops. And then his partner gets killed in this partner played by Anthony LaPaglia, who everyone knows as Simon from Frasier, of course. Yeah. And he bequeaths Michael Keaton his kids, which is a very strange move. And then, that's just Keaton's. It's basically, I've only watched the trailer, but it looks like he's just doing Mr. Mom again, only he's a cop this time. And there's a drug thing going on or something in the background. But the trailer was worth it just for the tagline, which at the end was the proper old school announcer guy, been like, in a world of crime and corruption, how does he remain one good cop? I was like, that's it. Oh, you got me. The rest of it looked terrible, but that line sold me. Sign me up.
Yeah, I love any time you get the title. Perfect.
And then, he also made Pacific Heights, which is a much bigger hit. Was the thing where I think Melanie Griffiths and Matthew Modine rent like an apartment to him or something. And it turns out he's like a con. Weirdly enough, it turns out he's a shadowy con man who's also a complete psycho who's been disowned by his rich family, which is kind of like the Penguin in this movie in a weird way.
I'm really confused because he also did the English voice for a Miyazaki film in '92 as well.
Oh, was that Porco Rosso?
Yeah.
Oh, it's one of the few I haven't seen.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's I've seen that movie many years ago, and I think it was the English dub. But he's like a cocky pilot who also happens to be a pig.
Of course, yes.
But yeah, so that's what Mickey Keats was up to in the interim here. And yeah, doing good work actually as well, because Pacific Heights, that's kind of like a kind of undercurrent classic, or like he's very acclaimed for being such a like disturbing psychotic character in it as well. So he's like he can go nuts, and then he can come back and just be Bruce Wayne again. And good actor that Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, he is top. He doesn't get enough credit for what he's done. People always thought in the past, he's that kind of goofy guy. He plays these weird roles for Tim Burton now, after he'd moved on from his initial sort of roles. And then he disappeared for a while.
Well, but, the thing we mentioned in the last movie, but we are in the midst of the Keatonaissance, where like there's a good few years there where like people wouldn't give Michael Keaton the time of day. Like he was in like Herbie Fully Loaded and that undergrad movie with Rory Gilmore. And it's just like, he's just playing like the dad in these like little twee family comedies and stuff, and he's just not doing all that great. And he's still working, but he's not superstar Michael Keaton anymore. And then I think it was like Toy Story 3. It kind of like people were like, oh yeah, Michael Keaton's pretty good in this. I remember Michael Keaton. You remember he was pretty good, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that, to be honest.
Yeah, and then from that, then you got friggin' Birdman arrived and Spotlight, and now it's like the Founder, and now it's just like he's a proper force to be an acting force to be reckoned with again. And I remember way back when in like Empire magazine dissing Michael Keaton in some of their reviews, and me as a Michael Keaton fan, but like what the hell? And now they're all sucking up to him. So yeah, the wheel has turned around.
I love the way you said that as if that was so long ago. You're like, I remember back in the day.
Are you Alfred's age? Is that what this is?
To be fair, it was
he is. That's why he doesn't post photos of himself.
But this was like back in like 2000 or so. So it was a while back. That was like 17 odd years ago. They were dissing Michael Keaton. So
I'm that old now. I feel that old now that I still think 2000. That's quite recent, right?
We're getting old, John. I'm getting old, man.
That wasn't long ago.
Soon we will be Alfred. That is going to be. It will come to pass. But yeah, going back into the minute here, we do get the cut into Batman cruising. He's out cruising.
Cruising? Yeah. I don't know if that's what you want to be saying.
That's exactly what he's doing, John. It's and it's exactly in the way that you think.
Okay.
But I was weirded out by this though, because it's like an idly trundling Batmobile, just kind of like, just going for a little drive.
When there's like no one out.
Yeah,
it's just him.
I wonder if it was just like he was like, it's too cold out. I'm not doing this rooftop business in this weather. Let's say I'll take the friggin' the Batmobile and then like the hell with it.
Well, you know what I would have loved there actually I think they would have done this in the comic books and things, but not back when this movie was made. If he had a winter batsuit,
so
if he's out on the rooftops at night and it's snowing, it's like a padded kind of quilted version of it or something.
I know you can get that in like one of the Arkham games. There's a bit where there's a DLC where he's versus Mr. Freeze and you have to update to this heated suit and stuff. But I'm sure, you'd think that would have been a thing like Warner Brothers would have loved. It's like, oh yeah, put him in a new costume. Like put him in and we can make a toy out of that. That's great. So I'm surprised it did. But maybe they thought like, oh, we're not featuring this Batmobile enough. So it's like, although it gets a big old scene later. So.
Well, something weird about the Batmobile as well, which I love, it's fantastic, is it's cruising, as you say, it's cruising. It's doing, 20. and it still has a giant flame coming out of it. So even when it's going as slow as possible, it's like...
It's just a hazard. It's just a hazard.
It is. It's crazy.
But, he is the Duke of Hazard, this guy.
God.
No, but that was the thing. Remember we talked about, like, when he was, like, the descent in the mystery scene in the last movie. He was zooming around the corner. It was really cool because you saw the flames coming out the back. And I think we mentioned then that it was like, you can get like 18 seconds out of like a full engine, a full petrol tank. 18 seconds just to have that afterburner. That's how long it lasts. And it's like, well, this guy is entirely responsible for friggin' global warming and, holes in the ozone layer. If he's literally just idly cruising around and he's using that much petrol just because he needs his afterburner on, what's he needed for? There's no purpose to that afterburner at the minute. Just get a normal engine. Kick into that.
That's an excellent point.
Kick into that when you need the extra speed. But this is like, you're going at like 30 miles an hour or something. This is nothing. Plus, it does remind... This is like getting a step closer, ever so closer to next movie's I'll Get Drive-Thru. Because it's introducing the concept that Batman just idly drives around in this car. And people could just be walking past and like, hey, Batman. And he's like, all right.
Hey, if you owned that car, you'd be just cruising around in it. Why would you drive anything else when you own this?
Yeah. The thing, if I owned the car, if I was Batman, I'd be terrible at keeping it secret because I want to show off to everyone. Like,
look at me, I'm Batman. Look at me, and then
I would much more in the Tony Stark mold of just been like, "Yep, it's me." They lavish praise upon me for being such a cool superhero.
I suppose Tony Stark is like the anti-Batman in that sense. He's just the complete opposite.
I remember that actually being like, I suppose I should have seen it coming, but like at the end of the first Iron Man movie, I was very shocked at the fact that he just ends by going, "Yep, it's me." And I'm like, this is breaking all the superhero molds. But again, the character of Iron Man was always opened by the fact that it was Tony Stark, so I don't know why I didn't see it coming. But,
yeah. You just assume they're going to change it for a movie. Since they change most things for movies and ruin them.
Yeah. But as he's zipping past there, we do see him a neon sign in the background. Apparently, it's the sushi club, which I don't know if that means like a sushi club as in it's a nightclub where you go to eat sushi. Is it one of those sushi restaurants where they have like the served on naked people?
Oh no! Why would it be that?
A sushi club. It doesn't sound like a sushi bar. It sounds like it's a club. It's got a more adult orientated vibe about it.
Did people do that in the 90s?
I don't know. It sounds to me like an 80s thing.
Well, this is still
kind of
technically the last remnants of the 80s is still alive in Gotham.
No, that is true. That's something people forget about these decades. Like when it's still like early 90s, it's basically the 80s. Yeah. And going back when it's the early 80s, it's still basically the 70s. Like it takes things a while to shift.
Yeah.
That's something they get wrong when they make movies, and they'll be set in like 81, but everyone's dressing in what you think of as the 80s clothes.
I'm looking forward until like 2 years' time. You get to get rid of all our clothes, get rid of all the stuff that identifies us as the 20 teens, and then we get entirely new stuff for the 20s. This is going to be great, guys. We're going to get all the new stuff. We get the silver jumpsuits. We're gonna get it's like they're bringing back the monk haircut. Understand? Where you get like the shade, top of your head, and then the curtains, and then it's just around the rest of your head. Yeah, that's all coming back, John. I got official notice from the powers that be.
Nope.
You're not a fan of the monk.
Not really. No. I'm not looking forward to the 2020s now because I don't want to see the monk walking around.
I'm surprised the monk hasn't. Because the thing nowadays, because people, they went through that period of postmodernism where it's just like, just try to get weird haircuts for the sake of weird haircuts. So now we got I think the current kind of trendy haircut is the hipster, the shaved in at the side of the head, but then long over it. That seems to be the kind of current. I mean, I'm not cool or in with the kids or anything, but that's what
I thought you were cool. That's why I'm doing the show with you. I thought you were one of us, one of the cool kids.
But that's what I've observed through, being a person. And I think at some point, eventually they're going to be like, that monk haircut. I mean, we ran out of everything else. So we're going to have to go back to, this is the monk haircut.
Just bring back the mullet.
Yes.
I'd rather have the mullet than the
definitely.
monk.
The mullet is the ultimate. I genuinely love it when you see people with a mullet. I don't care that people think it's lame. It's balls to the wall. It's out there. It's in your face. There's no shame.
The thing is, though, like, you know, a guy who really rocked the mullet up until he was cast as Batman was Michael Keaton. You look at him in, like, Clean and Sober. Like, that's full-blown mullet. That's just like, it's the Michael Keaton hair with this bush hanging out the back. It's just like, yep.
That sounds wrong. Sorry.
But it looks like it was an easy haircut, though. So it's just like, literally just, just scrunch that up. Slip. There you go. Done. Now you're officially Bruce Wayne. But yeah, then we get Alfred apparently has some sort of, I don't know, it's like a child safety phone that he calls Bruce on, where like it rings
It's a jitterbug.
once.
It's his old person phone. They're called jitterbugs.
Oh, bless him. He needs help anyway. He probably needs to be shown how to use it repeatedly. He's like, what do I press?
Well, it looks like, though, because the fact that he's over there doing the ironing, it looks like it might be like voice activated, I guess, because he'd just be like, you know, computer, Alexa, dial Master Wayne.
Alexa. He invented it.
But yeah, then he, he is like essentially sort of. It's a weird scene, actually, because I do like the sequence, but it is kind of repeating the same beats of what we just saw in the Batcave, where he's like, why are you looking into this penguin guy anyway? And it's really like, Jesus, Alfred, leave him alone. He's Batman, he do what he wants. And I'm seeing them mid. The fact that he's saying, like, why are you still out? So this could be like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.? Like, how late is it? Because you assume Batman's he's out to all hours of the night, so.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't sleep, basically, as we've established. He's probably not going to get back in till, I don't know, 8 in the morning.
Yeah, but then it's like, well, why is Alfred, like, sort of henpecking Bruce Wayne here now? Like, it's just like, well, you're out too late. It's like,
Yeah, because it's like, he's like his mother, right? And when kids first start going out, you know, on the town and stuff, mothers worry.
It's 11
They
o'clock.
stay
Where
up.
are your children?
Exactly. Your kid's not home. You're sat in the living room. You might even have the light off, so you surprise them when they walk in. Like, where have you been?
you're going for the Homer sitting in the stairs, like, you know, hello, son, where have you been? Playing with Milhouse. No, you haven't. You've been out gallivanting around with that floozy of a bigger brother of yours. Haven't you? Haven't you? Look at me.
I like the way we make so many. This is the only reason I can imagine this happened. You probably want to edit this out now. I like the way we clearly make so many Simpsons references. We've been followed by Nancy Cartwright for some bizarre reason on Instagram.
Like, we didn't follow her
I can't
first.
imagine why we didn't. Yeah, but why would she follow us? She hardly follows anyone.
Yeah.
She's got like 40,000 followers and follows 1,000 something. Why does she follow us?
I might keep it in just in the odd chance. Maybe she listens, and maybe she'd want to come in and talk about. She's like, what?
Imagine that.
You know, she is the Bartman. Why not come and talk about the Batman? It's.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
But where were we? I think I've lost track.
Batman,
Yes. But we'll say actually as well, though, because this scene, of course, does not exist in many of the drafts. This seems to be sort of late addition into the shooting. Maybe they were like, "Oh, throw this in as well." But they did have a nice little thing that they cut from the scene we saw earlier when Bruce was watching the Penguin on TV, where I guess around where this would have been. And it has, Bruce sort of like, the Penguin makes his big impassioned speech and comes out to the world. And Alfred says to Bruce, like, well, you're not crying. And Bruce just instantly goes, I'm not crying, and he's not for real. And then, they're kind of talking for a little bit, and then Alfred picks up something and he says, oh, look, do you remember? It's from the Christmas just before Miss Vale decided to leave Gotham City. And he hands a sparkling ornament to Bruce. And then Bruce goes, I remember. Merry Christmas, Vicky Vale, wherever the hell you are. And then drifting off, he sadly throws the ornament past an alarmed Alfred into the raging fireplace.
Holy crap.
So, yeah, apparently things didn't end too well between Bruce and Vicky in the Dan Waters draft.
Let's be honest, we know Vicky's dumped him. She can't put up with his behaviour, his staying out, he's distant. She's dumped him.
Yeah. But we find out then, it's like, no, she actually hooked up with Knox. His persistence actually paid off, and eventually he's like, I knew if I just kept at it, I'd bag her eventually.
Oh no, that's a worrying message.
Yeah. That's why they cut it out of the movie.
That's
They're
why
like,
they
"We
cut it
can't
out.
have
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be sending the message. Yes, just constantly harass women, and they will go out with you.
Yeah, just leave them alone. That's a better message.
Yes, do that, listeners. If you're tempted to harass someone, no, don't.
It's like both the things that Batman does not condone: going around as a circus and abducting children, and monk haircuts. Apparently, well,
Yeah,
that's more Austin Powers Minute does not condone.
No, we
monk
don't.
haircuts.
Sorry.
And don't harass women into going out with you, because it's not nice. It's not pleasant. Plus, if the chemistry's not there from the get go, it's probably not going to work out. So. But anywho, I think I'm done for this minute. Unless you have anything about the action going on in the minute here to pass comment on?
No, not really.
No, not really. There's not much sort of else happening, is there? He's just, as you say, he's just cruising around, and then we need to see, what's Penguin up to there? What is he doing? He's still hard at work into the wee hours.
The only other thing that I did have was, like, I guess it could be easily explained as like she just got released, but the fact that, like, they say, like, one circus performer or one freak show performer managed to escape before questioning, but it did mention also that the poodle lady was part of this circus. So it was like, did he get a replacement poodle lady because he liked the aesthetic of it so much, or he just like, oh, I just want someone to remind me of the poodle lady I always hung out with. Or was the poodle lady, I guess actually she'd be pretty good under questioning because she never says anything. So they brought her in for questioning.
Is she mute?
Well, no, she's not, because we do see her talking at the end where she has that, something's approaching very
yeah,
large,
of course.
very
You
fast.
do.
So, but yeah, so I guess, she actually would be the ideal accomplice because she apparently is virtually mute up until she has to announce that a friggin' bat boat is tearing towards your sewer lair, I guess. But yeah, that was the only. So maybe it's the same poodle lady. She just got released, and they're the happy family. So
Aw, happy, joy.
But yeah, I'm done. Have you guys?
Okay, so I thought you were going to say something then. So I left for it. Well, we will head off now into the dark, dark night. Johnny, would you like to tell our good listeners where they can find you and your great work, your wonderful podcast online?
You can find me at Austin Powers Minute on Facebook. We have a special group on there. It's a closed group for anybody who is really a super fan of the movie. It's the Electric Psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club on Facebook. And
Hey.
yeah. And
Great name.
you can also find us on Twitter at Austin Powers Min.
Hey, make sure to do that. It's a great show, great movie as well, especially the first one. I love that first one. So do check that out, and check us out if you haven't already for some strange reason. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Just look us up. I don't even care. Just look up Bat Minute. We're the only one, the original, the best, the greatest. And review us on iTunes, because that bumps us up the charts, apparently. I don't really understand how that works, but it makes more people see us. So that's always good. You want more people to chat nonsense to in the listener's cave, I'm sure. So join us again on Wednesday, because we will be back with more Batman Returns and minute 41. See you then.
Right. Next time, set lasers for funeral. Like funeral. Because I know there's no... This allegedly impavid interloper continues to inquire into his identity. Will our idly driving but irate investigator accept this inducement? Or would that be a grave mistake? Find out Wednesday. Throw us a friggin' bone here. Next time, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.